Welcome back, Kerbalots! Today we're going to fly a much larger mission to Mon. You can see this beast of a rocket here. Here, we'll move this window out of the way. This is another stage and a half engine, and it was so heavy. I still don't have the really powerful engines yet, so I had to use these slightly less powerful engines. This is a much larger rocket. It's using the 3-meter parts, I believe. So this is far more powerful than anything I've done. You can see that it has a total of 7 kilometers per second. This could make it to orbit around Earth, almost. Although it should have plenty to do what we want it to do. And we're also going to go rescue a person here. So let's assign our crew. Yeah, this'll do. We'll let Jebediah go to the moon. We'll have enough space to rescue a person as well, but we don't need to send 2 engineers. That's a little overkill. Or 2 pilots for that matter. Ooh, nice bright shiny light reflection off of there. Alright, let's see if this beast can make it off the ground. It's gonna be a very slow flight up. Sorry for that, but let's see if I can keep you entertained. Yeah, we're just barely crawling. So one thing you might notice, for those who haven't seen other people play Kerbal Space Program before, I have the engineering display up, so you can actually see some of the interesting facts. Like, if I were to stop firing engines right now, in 2 seconds I would hit the highest point I'm ever going to be. You see that's climbing, which is a good sign. We're moving slow, but that's okay. It's not a huge deal. We probably could use a little bit more thrust off of the pad, but it'll be fine. We'll make it. You see all kinds of interesting statistics here. Orbital parameters and other, when it comes to rendezvous, this can make it a lot easier. Wondering if... Oh, cool. You can already set the target here. So see, there's our shadow. We're flying away nice and slow. I think this is about the same speed that Falcon Heavy launched, actually. Although it accelerated quite a bit more once it got higher up than we're going to. We're at the point in time where if we exploded in real life, the pad would be quite safe, and that took about 25 to 30 seconds as well with the real mission. We're a little bit lower thrust weight ratio than you typically have for an Earth mission, but we'll be fine. At this point in time, if I could, I would increase the thrust, because we're high enough that actually it'd probably be better to just increase the thrust the whole time. I wish I had some kind of a nose cone. I could put a nose cone for these little guys on the side, but the far bigger drag is coming from this one, and I don't have a nose cone for that yet. Our part increase is slow, but we're getting there. So our craft here, it has this bottom bay here is a science bay. We've got a 3 Kerbal space capsule, basically an Apollo capsule. Kind of looks like that. We have a science bay unit. We have a full complement of science instruments, including the goo and the temperature, and we have a new one, I think. Oh, that's right, I didn't have quite enough science for that. Never mind. Yeah. And one of the big things that we can do this time that we could not do in the past is we can collect surface samples. That was the new thing I was thinking about. I knew there was something. And here I am talking and not doing flying. It's hard to talk and fly at the same time. But we'll do a little bit of a tilt here. Better late than never. Who wants to knock perfectly empty rocket stages over the Kerbal Space Center? They don't like it very much. Although apparently in China they've been doing that over banned areas, dropping rocket stages recently, so it does happen. People kind of frown on that though. Okay, so we have a couple of solar panels just to keep us nice and powered. Our second stage is a Poodle engine, which is the low power for the large rocket diameter stages. Considering how much fuel we have, it should be plenty. I've set it so that all of the solid fuel on the side should kick out. Yep. Stop working at the same time the liquid fuel stopped working. Good. Now you see we're actually slowing down a little bit. Something to be a little concerned about, but we'll be fine. Basically what's happening is the thrust-to-weight ratio isn't quite high enough, but as we get higher, our drag is decreasing, which was good, and our gravity is weaker, so we're able to pull away more, and we're also burning fuel, so our thrust-to-weight ratio will go up. So all three of those combined should make it work just okay once we get a little bit higher here. So, you know, we still got to keep thrusting, but this is actually not uncommon for an upper stage to have a thrust-to-weight ratio less than 1. It creates some really interesting plots. You'll actually see them decrease in altitude a little bit sometimes, but it works okay, and it ends up getting more payload into orbit. That's exactly what we're having happen here. We should start speeding up here soon. Our horizontal speed is increasing. Our vertical speed is still decreasing a little bit, but it'll be fine. Jebediah is okay. How are our Kerbals there doing? Yeah, they look fine. They're just like, yeah, whatever. They're only pulling 2 Gs. That's hardly anything for spaceflight. Okay. So how are we doing? We need to tilt way over. We're starting to speed up, which is good. Let's put it into orbital view. There we go. Not target. We don't want target. Not yet. Probably should have timed this launch so that we could do a quick rendezvous, but that's okay. Probably do what I did last time and put in a cut, so you guys don't have to watch me fumbling around for many orbits to try to capture our spacecraft there. Yeah, we're starting to speed up a little bit at last. This top stage has so much fuel, it'll be more than enough for anything we will want to take. So, I suppose I should do some science. We have a scientist, so we can reset our instruments. I haven't even done a science bay at all. Why can't I do that? Oh, I probably have to transfer from the scientist. I think Bob is. I'll put them both in there. It won't hurt. Transfer crew. Yeah, we might be, you know, launching a rocket, but you guys can go. Go hang out in the science lab. Let's tilt over a little bit more. Our up oasis is still climbing, so we're doing all right. Okay, transfer crew, Bill. get in there. Okay, now... let's see here. So we're gonna do some of the observation. Keep flying. We'll worry about science once we get to orbit. Not doing a great job of this. Come on. Feels like we hardly have any control. Huh. I don't know what's going on. Let's try this. That's working. Keyboard controls don't seem to want to work. Maybe I have... no? Eh, whatever. Oh, that's why. Scared for a second there. Okay, everyone's happy now. So, we'll review the data. We're going to process that in the lab. We're going to process a crew report in the lab as well. We need to go a little bit more vertical. We're getting a little bit too close to, especially for the end of our stage. It's not the world's best launch profile. And we may as well do a goop container. Gonna get all the science. So this lab here will do research on an ongoing basis. It's kind of really thought to be meant for a permanent station, although we're actually going to take it back. So you can put scientists on there and have them stay for long term if you want, and like do science in orbit and stuff. We don't really have enough solar power to really power it for a long time, but it'll be fine. How are we doing? Yeah, we gotta steepen up our ascent here a little bit, or else we will not make it to orbit. We have about half of the horizontal speed that we need, and it's okay that our vertical speed is decreasing, but it's not a good thing. This is not the easiest rocket to get into orbit. It's efficient, but it's not the easiest to manually get into orbit. It's a lot easier when you have a higher thrust to weight ratio. Yeah, I gotta steepen this up even more. Oh boy. Still gaining some of that horizontal speed that we need, but not enough. Yeah, we're gonna have to fire like this for a while. This is, of course, inefficient, but that's okay. Burn a little bit of fuel up, and we are gaining some horizontal velocity, which is good. Yeah, I probably shouldn't have loaded down the rocket quite this much, but that's okay. It'll be fine. When you have these really, really heavy cargoes, and you really need to be careful. Real life or in Kerbal Space Program, especially in Kerbal Space Program, but the launch profile changes quite a bit. Okay, I think we're good. Our vertical speed is actually increasing a little bit. Yeah, so we can shallow out this trajectory a little bit. We might just manage to achieve a full orbit without having to do the typical weighting operation that you often have to do in Kerbal Space Program. Okay. Let's shallow this out a little bit more. Actually, shallowed out a fair bit more. We're high enough where we're, for all intents and purposes, outside of the atmosphere. This will be good. With a little bit of vertical speed, but not a ton. Okay. Yeah, sorry, I'm sure this is absolutely riveting video seeing me continue to burn here, but yeah, let's take a look at the scenery. Wow, we've gone a long ways. There's the Kerbal Space Center all the way over there. So, we're doing alright. So I guess if I was feeling brave I could do a EVA or something, but nah. Won't do any such thing. Okay, how are we doing? Vertical speeds continuing climb. Let's shallow this out a little bit more. Yeah, I just had too much fuel in this upper stage. Oh well, we have a ton of delta V. Let's check out our statistics here. Vessel, there we go. Yeah, see, we have like still 3 kilometers of delta V. We'll be fine. I could probably take this all the way to Duna. Probably not quite back. We'll have to get a little bit more powerful rocket engine, but when we go to Duna, which is Mars basically, then we'll have a spacecraft that's pretty similar to this. Okay, we're getting somewhere. The shallower we can make this trajectory, the more efficient it is, but you have to put enough vertical so that you're not going to fall. We're actually getting pretty close to orbital speed here, which means that you can effectively take an even shallower trajectory. Let's see. Whoops, not docking mode. Look at our map. How close are we to... Oh! It's getting further, so... Yep. We're not at a really great spot to do an orbital intercept. We would have been if we had been able to launch a little bit earlier. Okay, let's rotate. Yeah, I feel like the announcers there at the end of a Falcon or any rocket launch, because the final stage really do take this long to burn. And it's for the same reason that this is taking so long. It's that you have a little light engine that barely has enough thrust to weight ratio, and you get the maximum payload into orbit. So, yeah, we're approaching orbital velocity slowly. Now, our orbit's still inside the planet. We can see it's a whole 10 minutes till we would hit periapsis, which is good. I think we're gonna keep going like this. We could go a little bit flatter, but we actually need to get above the 70 kilometers, or else we're not going to be in a stable orbit. Yeah. Sorry about that. Just had a little gap in here because got a phone call from some random phone number that I don't even know, but never mind about that. This is what I get for forgetting to disable that. Okay, so we're actually going to achieve orbit, and I am actually going to do the traditional Kerbal Space Program final burn after a while. Didn't quite do that. It was pretty close, but yeah, whatever. All right. Yeah, we'll wait a little bit more. We don't need. You see, we're almost in orbit as it is. The Falcon 1 Mission 3 was basically in an orbit like this. It just didn't quite have enough energy to make it into orbit, but it more or less achieved it. Of course, the Mission 4 was the one that finally managed to make it into orbit. Okay. Well, so how are we? Got a little bit of an inclined orbit. A lot of an inclined orbit, actually. Wow. Did I botch this? Let's see how... Yep. 2-degree inclination. Jeez. I'm really not doing that great. That's okay. We'll get it taken care of. We have plenty of fuel. And so, let's see here. We'll plan a maneuver. And if I remember right, you can... Ha! So, let's actually move this to over here. And we will do an inclination correction there. And go the other way, silly me. And then we'll also do a little bit of a speed up. Let's see if we look at our rendezvous. Does it actually? No, it doesn't show it. I thought it did. Well, we're going to do it right at the descending node. And we're going to take that down to 0. And we're going to decrease our... There, let's try this. All right. It's quite a long time until our burn, but oh well. So hang out. We're actually fairly close, so I won't pause it. You'll just watch the orbiting planet beneath us. Yeah, warp to next maneuver. So, of course, with Earth, the orbital period is about 90 minutes for a low Earth orbit. It can be a little bit less. I think the International Space Station is less than that. But being as high up as we are, then, or being the tiny planet that this is, the orbital period is much less. Okay, so let's go find our burn node. All right. Gotta do a quick EVA. Keyboard. Doesn't everyone do EVAs right before they do a flight? Yeah. Of course that doesn't really happen. Okay. How are we doing? Okay. So we're still catching up. A very slight ascending node. So let's add in a maneuver. I'm gonna switch it for, no. That's not what I want to do. Still well separated. How close am I gonna be here? Oh, this is too far to do anything of interest. Okay. $71. 68. Yeah. You know what? There we go. I just need to wait a few orbits. Okay. That's much better. Silly controls. Okay, so we're gonna wait a couple of orbits here. Tell you what, this has already gone on for long enough. I'm gonna put a cut in here, and we will return at the point in time where we're about to do this maneuver here. So thanks for joining me. Let me know what questions you guys have about real space science in the comments. Feel free to subscribe to not miss any of my future videos that are going on, and check the description for all kinds of good stuff that I'm interested in doing, and we will see you next time. Bye bye.